Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. The new background is continuing, although this time I've went for a plain background, although there is like a paisley design on it. It's like an embossed velvet thing. I don't think it shows up on camera. Might do, I don't know. I did that so that, I don't know, I think it's less distracting when I'm doing beauty looks, and also if I want to use, which I didn't in this video, but if I want to use the autofocus, that works way better for me than the other background, which I will use for chatty videos, because the camera kind of wants to focus on all that pretty stuff that's happening behind me and not this mug. So that's why that's happening. I got a lot of requests to do the look that I was wearing in my last video, which was the one where I was just gobbing about the under eye area and how to treat the delicate skin here and all the different things you can do to make it look youthful and plumped and all that kind of stuff. So I decided to go for that. I was going to do a bridal look. I think I'll wait till next week to do a bridal look, because it's a good time of the year to do them, because you know people are going to start thinking about getting married, and a lot of people probably got engaged over the Christmas, and the weddings really start from like properly from March onwards, so it's nice to maybe get a few looks in before then. And yeah, that'll be next week. So this is the look for now, obviously, and if you want to see how this is done, guys, just keep watching. So I have a scarf on. It's kind of cold here today, so the heating just turned on, so hopefully I'll be able to take it off in a few minutes. I want to start off with this BOTANICS Radiance Balm. It's the All Bright Radiance Balm. I think this has a bit of a cult following among bloggers in Ireland and England anyhow, or the UK and Ireland rather, and this just gives a really lovely lift to the skin. I already have my skincare and sunblock and all that done from this morning, which was like maybe about 3-4 hours ago when I did that, so that's all well sunk into the skin. 2015 was a first for me in trying out like oil foundations, or foundations with oil in them. This is like my favourite foundation, which is the number 7 Airbrush Away one. But I also got this at the end of last year after doing a job with Smashbox. It's their Photo Finish Primer Oil. Now you can use this by itself or just as skincare. I think they say you can use it on your hair and for cuticles and stuff like that as well. But another way you can use it is to mix it in with normal foundation to obviously make it a little bit more moisturizing and better for dry skin. So let's pick a foundation. I'll pick let's try the L'Oreal True Match foundation, and I'm going to put a drop of the oil in with a couple of pumps of that, and we'll just see how it blends, because I haven't actually done this before. Like, the scientist in me tells me that it'll separate and look weird, but apparently it works, so we'll have to see if it does work. So, and I know Goss Makeup Artist did a video on this as well, and he thinks it's great. So not necessarily that particular oil, but just oils in general. He says it's great to mix them in with foundations. I mean, it seems to be mixing in quite well. I just did 2 drops, I don't want to go overboard. And then I'm going to pick that up with my beauty blender and start to bounce that in place. And my skin is a little bit on the drier side at the moment, which would explain me looking for, you know, the Radiance Balm and using a bit of oil and all that kind of stuff. Okay, I think I can take off my scarf now. It's starting to warm up a little bit in here. Okay, one of these days I'm going to have to get a new concealer to try out, but for the meantime I'm just going to stick with, I mean I have a million concealers, but a new one that might rival this. I'm just going to stick with the Maybelline Fit Me. I got my nails done shorter this time, which if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook you'll have seen, so it means I can actually work around the eyes, because when I had the slightly more pointed or oval shape the last time, the tip was stopping me from getting in around those really small areas, which was annoying. So I definitely wanted to go a bit shorter, and I love them this time. Look at that, I love this concealer. Okay, I'm going to go into my very much loved, it's the Max Factor Pale Pebble Wild Shadow Pot. I love this. It's a subtle highlight because it has a bit of a sheen to it without being overboard, and I'm not going to put down any like eye primer necessarily, because I have dryish lids at the moment, and B, I will be using a cream as a base from the Sleek palette that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be starting off with this cream colour, and it's called Louis. They have like names, as in like human names, for them, and I'm going to use my finger just to pat that in place. So it's going on the main lid as a base, and a little bit there into the inner corner, although my fingernail is leaving a tiny bit of a mark, but sure, not too bad. Next I'm going to go into this shade, which is called Vivian, and we're going to stick that as our inner corner highlight, and then just on the inner bit of the upper lid. We'll move on to Vera, which is this golden shade. And we'll pop that over the rest of the lid. Okay, I'm going to add a transitionary colour first. I'm using my NYX Taupe blush. I have been loving this, the new one, the new formula. I'm more inclined to use this around the eyes now because there's less of that pink tone in it than there was in the last formula. I can't remember if I actually used this underneath my eye the last time I did this look. Who cares, we'll just go for it now. Pretty sure I did. And then we'll use this above the crease as well. And I'm using Zoeva brushes for all of this. It is the Luxe Petite Crease. So I'm pretty much bringing that colour right up to the inner part here, and then leaving that section here underneath the brow as a highlight. Obviously it depends on your eyebrow shape. Not everyone's eyebrows come down in such a strong arch like me. But next I'm going to pop a Kohl pencil into my waterline and tightline first. That makes such a difference. I just love applying black Kohl pencil into the waterline. Again, it's not for everyone, but I love it. And again, this is the Bourjois Kohl and Contour one. I think that's what it's called. The writing has gone off it, so. For black eyeshadow, I'm going to use my Catrice, the Captain of the Black Pearl. This is a really, really good, inexpensive eyeshadow. Really good if you want quite a deep black eyeshadow on a budget. And I'm going to first apply that using another Zoeva brush. This is the Detail shader. It's a great tiny wee brush. And using the very tip of that, I'm going to work that into the lash line at the bottom. So you really want to get it in between all the hairs. And then I'm going to go into the small detail shader. Is that what it's called? The Luxe Petite Crease that I was using earlier on, which has a little bit of the taupe on it. I'm going to use that just to blend that out. And that gives a lovely smoky eye effect. And sticking with the same brush and eyeshadow, I am going to apply that just to the outer V for a wee sec. And again, using the very tip of the brush, I kind of use that just to line the outer half of the top lash line. Trying to keep it thin at the very peak, center, whatever you want to call it. And then kind of bring it straight out to meet the outer corner, which gives a real lifted kind of cat eye look. You can always soften this then a wee bit with the brush and all that if you want. Then I'm going to switch over to the wee crease brush again. And just start to work up a little bit of that black into the outer corner. Now this is when it's a good idea to have a clean blending brush, or near on clean anyhow, and use that just to go around the edge. So that you're not spreading the colour anymore, you're literally just softening it. And that'll make life so much easier. So I'll just do the same on the other side quickly. Okay, so that's the eyeshadow done, and this eyeshadow does, like, it performs so much better than a lot of high-end ones I have. I did a video there a few months ago called The Battle of the Blacks, where I pitted a load of black eyeshadows against each other, and this was one of the best performing ones, so you can check that out if you want to see what else was really good. Then for the look, when I wore this the last day, I'm pretty sure I used this mascara. This is the MAC in Extreme Dimension. Yeah, the like extra black mascara. So I'm going to pop loads of that onto my top and bottom lashes. This is definitely one of my favourite mascaras. It's one of those ones I always go back to. I applied a little bit of under eye concealer then just under my eyes to clean up any fallout. There wasn't much. I'm going to put some of the RIMMEL Lasting Finish Concealer now onto blemishes. I'm going to use just a cotton bud first. And plonk, plonk, plonk. And then I'm going to use another one of those little Luxe Petite Creases, and that's what they're called, yeah. I like this because it is tapered. It's quite good for concealer. I do like to let my concealer just sit on the blemishes for a few minutes, however long, like a minute or two. Then just bounce over it, bounce over the middle, like don't rub it, and then start to gently rub around the edges. So you're not actually taking anything from on top of the concealer, but you're just blending out the edge of the concealer in with the rest of your skin. And the thing when you're working with raised blemishes as well, I mean, you'll get rid of the colour, not the actual like texture. So sometimes I'll do concealing on clients, and then they'll look in the mirror and there'll be like direct light coming at them, and they'll say, I can still see it. What they can see is the bump. They see the shadow. There's nothing you can do about that. Obviously changes in whatever light you're in, but all you want to worry about is getting rid of the colour. It's the only thing you conceal. You can't really conceal texture. Well, outward texture anyhow. Okay, so like I said, my forehead is dry, so I'm not going to do any powdering there. I am finishing up my beloved NARS Translucent Crystal Setting Powder to work into the very corners to get a little bit out. I'm using my Zoeva Luxe Highlight. I love this as a powder brush because I don't like to go overboard with powder. Start by bouncing the powder on the blemishes. You want those concealed. Oh, there was another one, wasn't there? Oh yeah, up here. And then once you've that done, just start to apply it anywhere else you want it. So my cheeks aren't oily, but because I know I'll be applying contour in that, I always apply a little bit of powder first, because you should always have a translucent or a setting powder or finishing powder, whatever you want to call it, underneath anywhere where you're going to put coloured powder. It's just so that they blend better. Either side of my nose here, because I get shiny there. I don't like to powder under my eyes. I know some people don't like having shiny under eyes. Sometimes it bothers me, sometimes it doesn't. To be honest, I'd rather be a little bit shiny there and hydrated rather than have it mattified and then dry throughout the day. So I think that's enough powder. Then we'll go into our contour. So it's of course the Taupe blush again. I'm going to use that relatively clean brush that I was using earlier on to blend out my eyeshadow. I just cleaned it off in a bit of tissue. Go into the contour again. Make sure you take off excess on tissue. I always have tissue in my hand when I'm working doing any kind of makeup, whether it be on myself or on clients. And then I'm going to contour around my nose a bit. I know my lighting isn't exactly even both sides, but I mean, it's kind of okay. It's a bit darker this end. And if you want, you can go into your face powder. I love something like this because it's not adding texture, it's not adding coverage. This will literally just blend out and soften. I have been using my e.l.f. baked highlighter in Moonlight Pearl again loads recently, and I love it. I always go back to this. I nearly always get compliments on it when I wear it. I can't remember if I was wearing a blush or not the last day. I'll leave that till the end because I can't really remember. For eyeshadow, no, eyebrows, I was using my usual favourite of the moment, which is the Smashbox Brow Tech Matte Pencil, and this is in Brunette. I don't go overboard with this. I put on just enough, like I'll fill out the tail and fill in the arch a tiny bit. I'm a big advocate of eyebrows looking like natural hair. I mean, it's obviously fine if people want a really full-on blocked out eyebrow. I mean, ye do ye, that's grand, but personally I just like hairy eyebrows. I like them to look like hair. You can see the difference even that little bit is done. And I'm actually just going to leave my eyebrows like that. I'm not even going to bother with the gel because I just want them to look as natural as possible. So that's what I'm going to do with those. For lips, I used the 24/7 Glide On Pencil by Urban Decay in 1993. So fill in the entire lip. And this is that perfect grungy brown 1990s. So it's very aptly named a 1990s kind of colour lip pencil. that I suppose Kylie Jenner brought back into popularity with younger people. And then do whatever shape you want. Yeah, I wish people would stop shaming people who overline their lips. It never happens to me really, because I suppose overline them really obviously. I know other people on like Instagram and stuff have had it. Kat Von D got it recently. Amber Dean I know got it as well, because of the way she does her love heart lips, which I think are adorable. But just do whatever the feck you want to do with your lips. And then a way I like to do my lips so that they're like kind of fairly natural looking is to go in with a lip brush and use that to just to blend the edge so that it's nice and soft. This also allows you to like fix up the shape if you need to. And then just to give a little bit of like an ombre or like highlighted effect to the center, I'm going in with the MAC Mineralize Rich Luxe Mineralize Lips Lipstick in Luxe Naturale. I love this as a really, really natural nude lipstick. When I'm doing more of a brown nude lip, I prefer it to be more matte. I mean, it's up to yourselves, but am I in focus? Ooh, I hope I'm not out of focus. Yeah, so that it just looks that little bit darker in the outer corners without it being overboard. And I think I do want to do a bit of a cheek. Or do I? Maybe a little bit. Don't want to go overboard either. I'll do a really light cheek. So I'll go in with this guy here, which is the Cream Puff Blush by Max Factor, and it's in a lovely pink. I want to get the rest of these actually, but I'm trying not to spend money. Oh yeah, it's giving a gorgeous just lift to the cheeks. So there is the finished look. So I really hope you like this, guys. I will be back on Friday with my next video as per usual. If you have any requests for me, leave them below. I'd like to see what you want to see from me. I'm kind of sick of just doing the same old like normal videos over and over again, like favourites and empties, even though I know I haven't done favourites in ages. But is there anything like new or maybe different that you'd like to see from me? I don't know, let me know. And yeah, leave any comments below anyhow, and I'll try to get back to questions ASAP. So I'll just see you all in my next video. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe and take care. See you guys.